Whispers of crime. The NBA star who trusted the wrong person. Do you remember the case where a former NBA player was murdered, and the person who helped make it happen was his own wife? This is a story about money, jealousy, manipulation, and a plan that unfolded slowly, quietly, and deliberately. This is the story of Lorenzen Wright. By 2010, Lorenzen Wright was no longer playing professional basketball. He had retired from the NBA after a long career, earning millions along the way. From the outside, his life looked successful. But behind closed doors, things were falling apart. Lorenzen was married to a woman named Shera. They had been together for over a decade, had children together, and shared a complicated history. By the time their marriage began to crumble, trust was already gone. Both believed the other was being unfaithful. Arguments became routine. Resentment built quietly. Eventually, after 13 years together, they decided to divorce. But even with his NBA earnings, money became a constant point of conflict. Shera believed Lorenzen was hiding assets. She didn't trust what he told her about his finances, and she wanted more, much more. At some point, Shera came to a disturbing conclusion. If Lorenzen were gone, the problem would be solved. Not through divorce court, not through negotiation, but through his life insurance policy. Shera wasn't planning to do anything herself. Instead, she began looking for help. That's when she turned to a man named Billy, a landscaper she knew personally. Their relationship crossed a line, and before long, Shera began confiding in him. Then, she brought in a third person, a relative we'll call her cousin. Together, the three discussed something unthinkable. They planned to kill Lorenzen. Their first attempt failed. Billy and the cousin drove from Memphis to Atlanta, where Lorenzen owned a condo. They broke in quietly. But the man sleeping inside wasn't Lorenzen. Realizing the mistake, they left and returned to Memphis. The plan had failed, but Shera didn't stop. Instead, she changed tactics. If they couldn't go to Lorenzen, they would bring Lorenzen to them. Shera began reaching out to him again, sending messages meant to draw him back to Memphis. That weekend, Lorenzen did return to town. He had plans: his son's basketball game, his daughter's dance recital, his sister's baby shower. At the basketball game, Shera tried again to get his attention. Lorenzen didn't respond the way she wanted. Frustrated, Shera switched strategies. She demanded that he bring their son home immediately. To avoid an argument, Lorenzen agreed. A friend dropped him and his son off at Shera's house. The children went to bed. And then Shera told Lorenzen she needed to leave the house. She claimed she had to meet someone to collect money, and insisted he come with her. They drove into a remote, swampy area just outside Memphis. Dark, quiet, isolated. When they stopped and stepped out of the car, everything changed. A man emerged from the trees. It was Billy. He was armed. Lorenzen immediately ran. As he fled, he called 911. The operator answered. Lorenzen barely had time to speak. Gunshots followed. The call went silent. Lorenzen Wright did not survive. And tragically, the emergency call was never properly followed up. No officers were dispatched that night. Afterward, Shera contacted her cousin and told him the plan had worked. She asked him to get rid of the weapon. He drove it across state lines and threw it into a lake. Then, they waited. When Lorenzen didn't show up to his sister's baby shower, his family grew concerned. Calls went unanswered. Messages were ignored. When they reached out to Shera, she dismissed their worries. suggesting Lorenzen was with another woman. Days passed. Eventually, his mother contacted the police and reported him missing. When investigators questioned Scherer, she told a story that made little sense, claiming Lorenzen left with armed men and illegal drugs. But the truth was already waiting. Police finally uncovered the 911 call. They traced it to the remote area where Lorenzen had disappeared. There, they found his body. While the investigation slowly unfolded, Scherer moved quickly. She collected $1 million from Lorenzen's life insurance policy, and she spent it fast. A new house, luxury cars, furniture, a swimming pool. In less than a year, nearly all the money was gone. For a time, it appeared she had gotten away with everything. Then, 3 years later, everything changed. Scherer's cousin was convicted in an unrelated murder. Facing life in prison, he offered prosecutors a deal. In exchange for immunity, he told them everything. About Scherer, about Billy, about Lorenzen. The FBI stepped in. Wiretaps were placed. Evidence piled up. In 2017, Billy was arrested. 1 week later, Scherer was arrested as well. In the end, Scherer accepted a plea deal. She was sentenced to 30 years in prison. Billy went to trial and received life imprisonment. Lorenzen Wright was a father, a professional athlete, a man who trusted the wrong people. His life didn't end because of a robbery or a random act of violence. It ended because of betrayal, carefully planned, patiently executed, and hidden behind the mask of a failing marriage. Some crimes aren't sudden. They're whispered into existence and carried out in silence. This is Whispers of Crime.